but sometimes they don't have like the right color foundation for my skin. I ask them like politely, like, do you mind using this instead? If I don't ask this politely, I'm just gonna sound like being mean to like the makeup
like you're the
artist.
diva
Like,
who is like,
yeah.
no, I prefer my own thing.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to do like that. I'm just trying to like, you know, cause like you can see that it's not much in my skin.
Hey there, and thank you for tuning in. We're excited to bring you another great conversation today. If you like the show and want to support us, please hit the subscribe button so we can keep bringing you great content week after week. And if you're feeling extra generous, give this video a like and share your thoughts and comments down below. Thank you so much. And now, let's get into it.
Welcome to Unpacking Japan. I'm Toby, and today we welcome Idai in the studio. Thank you very much for coming.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You're a freelance model here in Japan,
Yes,
originally
I am.
from Zimbabwe. You moved here a few years ago, many years ago, have naturalized and become a Japanese citizen. So a lot of super interesting things to talk about with you today. But I'm curious to go back to the very beginning of your story and what brought you from Zimbabwe to Japan.
What brought me from Zimbabwe to Japan? Well, my mom, she was married to a Japanese guy when I was around 5-ish. So that's why it brought me to Japan, and she started working in Japan for like Japanese company. So that's how I officially moved to Japan.
So you moved here when you were 5.
Yeah, I was 5.
Do you still remember the move as a child at that time?
At that time, I was just curious about everything. Like for me, because like I was born in Zimbabwe, and people around me, they were all Black, all Afro, all like African cultures. And when I moved to Japan, as a child, I was just like seeing something that I never saw in my life. So I was just like curious, and I didn't speak any Japanese at all. So I was just trying to see how this is gonna go, like seeing my stepdad for the first time, seeing how Japanese people are, going to like Japanese kindergarten. And I was just like, I'm scared, I don't understand the language and people are different here. That was like my first impression of Japan.
Did you go to like a normal, regular Japanese school as soon as you arrived?
I went to like Japanese elementary school. But then when I was in like grade 5, I moved to like France for like 4 years. And then when I came back, I went to Japanese junior high school, and I went to like Japanese high school too. So it's like I had like 4 years gap for Japan in France.
A little gap in France, but the rest of your education here in Japan. When you arrive at 5, you don't speak the language. This is completely new for you.
Yeah.
And suddenly you go to a school and you don't understand anything and everyone looks different. How do you adapt to that situation?
It got easier for me because my step family, they were all Japanese. So like they, you know, tried to teach me how Japanese culture is. Also in kindergarten, even though I didn't really understand what every children were saying and every teacher was saying, but simple games made me like feel more attached to like Japanese you know, culture. So it was like a really strange experience for me at the time, but now that I think about it, those like little gestures made me feel more comfortable, like adjusting to the Japanese culture.
How did you pick up the language?
I was crying when I tell you I was crying, because you know Japanese, it has like katakana, hiragana, kanji, and you have to understand all of the 3 characters to be able to like read Japanese as well. So my parents were very strict. They always had like the high expectation from me, since I was like the oldest one in my siblings. So I was just learning and learning every day. I had this like notebook that has like small squares in a pattern. I just fill up with hiragana to be able to like understand. And like I was even like writing my full names in papers so that I would be able to. It was just for me. It wasn't like I didn't learn it like naturally. It was just like I was like very focused in studies. Yeah.
In a way, then it's a good thing that you moved so young, because I imagine the Japanese kids at 5, they can speak and understand the language, but they cannot read and write yet either, right? So when you join the school, you'll basically learn to write together with them, but you have this extra level of understanding to catch up on. How long did it take you to kind of feel like, okay, well, Japan is now my new home. This is where I'm gonna grow up?
I don't know that question, because growing up in Japan when I was young, Japan, like the society didn't really make me feel like this place is my home. So I was being able to like understand the language, like the language, communicate with people, but still like at that time, at my young age, I never really had like the feelings of being a Japanese person or like Japan being my home. I don't know. So I don't know the question. It's just like, I don't know how to answer the question.
But eventually, as you grew up.
But eventually as I grew up, I think I was like 17 when I transferred my citizenship. And at that time, I was like surrounded by like good people around me who made me feel like Japan is my home. I'm welcome here. They like how I am and how I act and how I dress. So really felt like I was welcome here.
You moved from Zimbabwe to Japan, 2 countries with like completely different cultures. And before we started, you said you kind of grew up still with, African household, your country's culture. But when you go to Japanese school, you wear the typical uniform. Everyone is more or less the same, but you really stand out there, and you have usually, I imagine, like very colorful clothes. Hairstyles are very important to you as well. How do you kind of adapt to this and keep a sense of your own culture in that situation?
Like when I was in elementary school, I hated having curly hair, and I hated like how my skin tone was like really dark compared to the others, because like Japanese elementary school or like junior high school, they are based in like teaching you everybody should be the same, like same haircut, like same type of clothes. So to me, I didn't fit in that category, so it was really hard for me. And some student will just pick up on me like that, like, why your skin that dark? Why your hair like that? So like I used to like straighten my hair all the time, and I used to like wear sunscreen and make my face kind of look whitish, like powder-ish. When I went to France, I went to international school, and I saw people from like all over the world, and I just thought like, this is such a beautiful place. Like nobody is like judging you for your skin, like for how your hair is, for like how you act, or like what you wear, because like you represent your own country. So I was just like, this is like so beautiful. And I was just like, I got inspired a lot from going to France. And then when I came back to Japan at Chusan, I was like 15. And then I went to like Japanese junior high school, and things started to like, I started remembering like how the Japanese schools were. And at Chusan, I didn't make any friends at all, because like everybody was like still judging me, like, why she's like that? Why does she have like braids on? Why does she like get to do that? Like, I don't know, people were just judging me for like how I look. Or like, cause like I spoke Japanese, English, and some French too. So like people would pick up on me that too. Like I thought she spoke like perfect Japanese, but like she speaks English as well and French. Like people like like just like, pick up on anything that's different about me from them. So that year when I came back, I thought like my mom told me that just to ignore like everything and just focus on high school, getting on like a good high school. And the high school that I got in was like, it was a Japanese school, but there was like international course. And when I get there were like a lot of people who were like interested in like studying abroad, learning about like different cultures.
Cool.
And interacting with like foreign people. So so like when I went to like high school, I started like getting like confident again about like with my own skin. So I think that was the time when I started like being like comfortable in my own skin in Japan. Yeah.
So community is super important, being surrounded by the right people. And you mentioned that the community was so good. In fact, when you were 17, you decided, okay, actually, I can see this as my new home and I want to become Japanese citizen. How was there a specific moment that made you decide on kind of turning in your old passport to take a new one?
It was like, I just knew that my life is gonna be based in Japan when I went to like high school. So I also like knew that I was gonna go into a Japanese university. So I just knew that I would be like growing up in here, even though like I would be like going to another country. My main life will be based in Japan with like my people. So and my mom is like from Zimbabwe too, and she worked for like Japanese company for such a long time, and she was also like ready to like give up her Zimbabwean citizenship to Japanese, and so we just decided to like do it together. Like, why not? Like, our life is gonna be based in here, and so it is like a good timing to do it.
That's cool to do it together.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through the process once you decide that you want to become a naturalized Japanese citizen? What are the steps you have to go through?
First, it's you have to be able to like speak fluent Japanese, which was like no problem for both of us. And there's like a certain amount of time that we have to like spend in Japan to get the citizenship. And at the time it was like the coronavirus. Because of the coronavirus, we couldn't like go abroad. Like my mom's job is like she traveled back and forth. So like even though I'm in Japan, she might not be in Japan. Like that was like the situation that we had before the virus started. But like after the virus, we were like trapped in Japan. So like it was like the right time for us. The other thing was like you have to like what was it like? You have to be able to like contribute and understand how the Japanese societies are and how the Japanese system works. Because I think that's how Japanese people are, like not understanding how Japanese people act and getting a Japanese passport is just weird. So yeah, that was like the basic rules.
Is it something they test you on? Like for them, they ask you to explain how the, I don't know, legal system or like government system is structured and who is doing what, and or is it more something that they just have a conversation with you and ask you some questions to see if you're well assimilated here?
That's different. Depends on the age. Like I was like below 20. So for me, it was like I just had to like get my parents right to be able to do that. And they will see me and we will have like a meeting to see my Japanese level and how much I have to show them how much and give them a presentation about how much I want this Japanese passport. And but like for my mom, it was different. They had to like look at her work history, if she have done any criminal activities in Japan, and if she's like safe enough to to get the Japanese citizen. So like I guess like being like 20 plus is much more harder to get the Japanese citizen. While I was like 17, so it was like for me it was like much more easier.
Yeah, because you're still a minor.
Yeah.
And I guess a few months later, successfully, you receive your Japanese citizenship. You get your passport. Does it make you feel different, special, that you kind of have a new passport from a new country?
I mean, it both gave me like a good big impact on my personal and you know like a professional life, and especially like now that I have like a Japanese passport, I can it's very convenient, and I can be confident in Japan for what I do. So like coming like, for example, like getting done some paperwork, even traveling or anything I do in Japan, if I have the Japanese passport, it makes me feel like I'm home. I'm at home doing like the right, like I'm not getting judged for what I do, because like every time whenever I go and I need like a certification, they will ask me like, are you're a foreigner, right? I'm just like, no. And I show them like my number card, and they just go like, oh, okay, you're cool. So it's just like, it made me feel like people accept me here because I have like Japanese passport. Yeah.
So when you arrive and you need to do any paperwork anywhere, because of your looks, obviously you look like a foreigner, and they will be like, oh, you're a foreigner. But the moment you show the card, do they still ask any questions, or is it usually just like, oh, you have the card, it's fine, you can?
Sometimes people just be like looking at it like, but then it's just a my number card. I can't, fake a my number card. So they let me go anyways. But it depends on the place, and especially like I have like a Japanese last name. So like when I, like get a plane ticket to somewhere, and and when I go to the counter for a check-in or something without using the machine, they will just be like, just to be sure, can you, like, since your last name is Japanese, can you just, show us your ID or something? I'm just like, okay, that's cool. But to me, it's just like, yeah, I'm still getting judged because I don't look Japanese.
But generally, it made your life much easier here in Japan, and it made you feel, it gave you more of a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
You did this when you were 17, so you were finishing high school, I think. I don't know what age people finish high school in Japan, but they're 18-ish. Did you have an idea at the time what you were going to do career-wise? You're a freelance model. Was this like something you were dreaming of doing back then?
It was like my childhood dream, but it wasn't like my dream. So I knew that I like clothes, and I like to do hair braids or like wigs and everything. I used to go to like Harajuku a lot when I was like during high school. So and then I was just like, on a random day I was just like shopping, and this person just talked to me, like he scouted me. He just liked how I looked, and at the time I was just like, man, I'm not sure. That interested. I'm just having fun with my life. But then on the other day, I was also walking around like Shibuya area, and I got scouted again, and my friend were like, you should try for it. And I was just like, yeah, why not? But like, I'm not gonna be like based. I didn't want to like mainly focus in being a model at the time. So I was just like think about it, and maybe if I think about it and I might want to do it, maybe just like kind of try it, but not like 100. I didn't want to give it like 100%. But then when I went to like this my first time modeling thing, I kind of liked it. I liked how it gave me confidence. Like so many people want to hire me from how I look. Wow, I used to hate how I look. So it was just like, I don't know. It just gave me another different type of, confidence to be interested in like modeling jobs. So I don't know. Once I realized, like, I was like 18 or 19, it just hit me like I like doing modeling. So
You were scouted on the street.
Yeah.
I think this used to be very common, maybe less so today. I think now a lot of agencies have just their online outreach and they may contact you through your social media profiles. Do you remember your first audition after you kind of, you got the call from them and they were looking for a model that fit whatever they needed? Do you remember how it went, the audition, and what you needed to do?
it was very simple. It was like they were just they just told me the place that I have to be at on the right day, and told me to like dress simple, just like, tank top at the top and jeans at the bottom, and just, tie your hair down. And it was like very simple and natural makeup. So I was just like, they're just trying to see like the true me. So I was just like, okay. And if I didn't go in, that was it. And if I went in, they liked me. So, and I went and I passed, and I was just like this. Oh,
Just like that.
okay.
You said it was a job that you liked because people wanted to hire you for exactly how you looked, who you are, which is something you didn't like so much growing up. What kind of opportunities have you had for modeling? What kind of jobs have you worked on?
I worked on many jobs. Like, for example, I've been on runway, and during the runway, like, I've met so many stylists, hairstylists, makeup artists, and so many designers. And it was just like good inspiration for me to see like how the fashion industry are. And honestly, like, there is no right or wrong in the fashion industry. So like, it was very interesting to learn and see. This one time, I was in like runway, and when it's like runway, like there's so many cameramans and photographers who takes our photo. I just realized I was like tagged in somewhere, and I was just like, wait, what? And I went to the link, and I was like in Vogue Japan, and I was just
Vogue Japan. Really
I was
cool.
just like, Mama, I'm in Vogue Japan. And that was like my biggest moment that I had in modeling in Japan. And I've also been in like music videos, like for like Japanese rappers, like Chibayuki.
No, I don't, but I'll have to check it out. If you're in the video, I'll see if I can spot you.
He's like the one, he's like the famous rapper who sang, Team Tomodachi.
Yes, I know that song.
Yeah, he's like he's like the main rapper in there.
Okay.
So I was just like, and I also met like every time I go to a shoot, like I meet like new people, and I get like new opinions and new things on everything. So it's just I don't know, it's just very inspiring for me. Like, I just want to tell my young self that that thing that you're worrying about now is gonna like disappear once you grow up and see like and new things and be surrounded by the right person.
I think that's a good thing to tell your younger self.
Yeah, it is.
You work as a model primarily in the fashion industry now?
I'm like based in runway, or like sometime like a brand shoot.
How do they work at the runway for you as a model? If some brand calls you and like, okay, we need you to be our runway model for like fall winter collection 2025. How do you prepare for this? What do you need to do, and how does a day kind of work for you?
First, they will contact you the audition day, and the time that I can go, and I say this time it's okay for me, and I go to the audition. And if they pick me, the next time I have to see them is like the fit check. They have like once after the audition, I guess they will like kind of see who is going to wear this clothes and who is going to wear that, and shoes and hat and everything. So the second day I go and see them is like the fit check, and the third day is the real runway day. So on that day we also do like the rehearsals, and during this time when I get picked up, I just trying to look I just trying to keep up the same way that I looked once from
when you have the audition.
Yeah, from when I had the audition. Yeah, so that they know what to do, like, because like sometimes, you know, some models they go to the audition with like black hair, but they dye and they get selected and they dye their hair and they just come out like boom, and the company or like the brand is just like very upset, like, why did you do this? Like, we told you to keep up with the same way. So I'm just like, so I just learn from seeing how some models be. So I just, you know, try to stay the same.
How long is it usually between the audition and the actual runway day?
Most of the time it's like, sometimes it could be like, everything could be like in 5 days. It's like boom, 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 boom. But like sometimes it could be like a month ahead or 2 months ahead. So it depends on the brand, and sometimes they have like a last minute show that they decided that they want to like they want to like perform, and so like sometimes if they know me, if the brand know me, they say like, you don't need an audition because like we already know how you look, but like just tell us like what type of hair you have at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Just like that. So it really depends.
Which is interesting because hair is super important for you as well. You were telling me before we started recording, you kind of occasionally also work on hair and do hair extensions, and it's part of your culture. So do you try to always keep it in a specific way, or do you just do whatever you like and you just tell them, okay, right now I have my hair, I don't know how you describe this color. It's a kind of
it's like a ginger.
kind of ginger.
Yeah.
And they just accept that, or will they ask you to change it before the shoots, or how do you maintain kind of like your passion for hairstyling and being or looking in a specific way that they want you for the runway?
They already have their own image, but they don't really tell you the type of image they're looking for. So like if I had like the wrong impression at the time, they would just, you know, cut me off. But if I had like the right impression, they would be like, okay, whatever. But for some brand shoot, like they're looking for like some specific people. So like black girl with black dreads or like blonde dreads, and sometimes I don't have that. So like they will ask me like 2 months ahead, like on this day, will you be able to do this hairstyle and come back looking like this? And if I say like, yeah, why not, I can attend. But like if I already have like a specific hairstyle that I want to do, I would just be like, I don't think I can, because I just hate being, you know, like, you know, trapped, like for being forced in how I have to look when I already experienced some of the hard things when I was younger. So I'm just like, it depends. If they like ask me to look in a particular way that I'm interested in, you know, participating, but sometimes I'm not really interested in the way they suggest me to look. So I'm just like, I don't think so.
You noticed you mentioned that the models are quite diverse on these runway shoots. You've got some Japanese models, I imagine, maybe white model, black model. Do you feel that because you're black, you get to kind of wear specific clothes, specific colors that kind of fit you better than others?
I don't really have like the right answer for that, because I just feel like most of the brands already prepare like what they want me to have, what they want me to wear. So I don't think I never felt that type of way about like someone is like wearing or like matching the better clothes than what I have, because the makeup and the clothes comes together. So like even though the clothes are just like meh, the makeup is like looking good. So like it kind of, you know, shows like the balance. Or even like the clothes is like too much, the makeup is like sitting right. So it's just like, so I never felt that type of way, I guess. Yeah.
When you get there on the actual runway day, how many people are working in the organization and how many models are participating usually?
Usually I feel like there is like maximum like 10 to like 15 models.
Wow.
And people that are working there, I feel like 30 plus, they're just like running busy with the makeup, like, cause like the makeup have to look fresh when the show starts, but like there's like 15 people to like, you know, dress and do the makeup, so they just busy
So when you arrive, basically you're assigned a seat, you get the list of clothes that you need to wear today, and then a makeup artist will come and do the makeup for you, or do you do it yourself?
And the makeup artists do it for me, because like they have this like particular look that they want to do. So but sometimes like what's hard for me is that like they don't have like the right color foundation for my skin. So like most of the time I just bring my foundation, some of my makeup with me just in case, because the photos I don't know where it's gonna be, so, and I don't want to look my worst, so I just, you know, make sure I bring it in case. And if they were like doing my makeup and I just feel like it's not really matching my skin, I just tell them like I ask them like politely, like, do you mind using this instead? But like if I don't ask this politely, I'm just gonna sound like you know, being mean to like the makeup
like you're the
artist,
diva
like,
who's like, no, I prefer my own
yeah,
thing.
yeah, like I'm not trying to do like that. I'm just trying to like, you know, because like you can see that it's not matching my skin.
So I know nothing about makeup. How different is it if you have like a typical foundation that is used, let's say, for a Japanese skin versus your skin?
It's like, it's not about like the skin. It's just like, it's about like the skin color. Like because like the darkest shade that the Japanese most of the Japanese company have is like, I don't know how to describe the color. It's like a good sunburn. Like
A good sunburn. That's the way
like
to
a good
describe.
sunburn for like Japanese people type of color. So when I put it on, it doesn't match me. I look like I'm white on my face, but I'm dark on my bottom. So it just like hangs. So I just don't want to look like my face is just like popping up in the front. I just want it to match everything. Like, so I tell them, like, I just ask them really politely, like, I don't really think this is kind of matching my skin, so would you mind using this? And they some of like most of the makeup artists gonna be like, yeah, sure. But some of them are just gonna be like, you really? Like, I think so. Cause like they feel like I just did their job, by which I didn't. But so I just asked them like, are you sure? Cause like, are you like, yeah.
How long does it usually take when you get to the shoot day until you're fully ready to kind of go and go on a runway?
Most of the time when the show is like from 8, they ask me to come by like 12.
Oh,
so like
wow,
8
okay.
hours.
8 hours prep, and then you actually have the show.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long preparation.
And they get us like lunch and stuff, but like since I have like a makeup on, they rather like they prefer that I eat before doing the makeup. But sometimes it's just like they have like this order that they want to keep. So like sometimes I'm really like beginning for them to put on my makeup. So I'm just like, I'm in a rush to eat, and I rush so much that I get hungry the next 6 hours type of things. But I always get like a good experience, so like it's worth it for me.
How many clothes do you wear on a typical show? I imagine it's not just one, right? You have to go multiple times.
Some models like they wear like 3 different clothes at one show, but the most that I've done was like 2 clothes at one show. It was fun for me because I was like on the number 2. I was like in number 2, and then I had to like come back, and when I went backstage, I had to like run, and people were just like taking my clothes off and kind of wiping my makeup off and putting like a new makeup and different look, and I was just like, so it was really fun. It was really fun for me.
Do you have one runway that you've done that was kind of like your favorite, or like brand to work with that you really enjoyed?
I like this one Chinese brand that came to Japan that I did. I liked it because it had like a very unique the designer was was a very unique person, and most of the time when it's runway, they just like do the clothes and the makeup, but that brand basically focus on every little detail. So every little details, and even like the makeup, I have something like on my face. I don't know how to describe it, but it was very unique for me, and I just liked how it was like caring about tiny things. And on that show, on that runway, I was also in Vogue, so I went on Vogue Japan. So I was just like, yeah, maybe I like this brand the most from out of the one that I did. Yeah.
Earlier in our conversation, you said that kind of being featured on Vogue Japan was kind of for you one of the top points of your modeling career so far. So there's more to come. But how does it affect your career as a model? I mean, Vogue is like a reference in fashion. And if you're there on that magazine, do you suddenly get requested more often? Do you suddenly get to work with maybe more prestigious brands that are maybe otherwise harder to access?
First, like my followers went up like crazy. Like I had like plus 1,000 followers, and it was mainly from different designers in Japan and out Japan, and they were just like telling me like we should collaborate sometime, and I started like getting like a huge job opportunity. Even though it's not runaway, like I get to be in like someone's famous person's music video, and I think yes, I get like more. I did get more opportunity after like being out in Vogue. Yeah.
So what's your goal now? What's your dream now that you said it was your childhood dream to maybe be a model, but then not really, and yet you end up doing it and you really enjoy it, and you've been featured in Vogue, you've worked with international brands. So how do you kind of see this career developing?
Honestly, I don't know. It's just like I am the type of person who get really bored by doing the same thing. So I always like be trying new things. So I don't have at the moment, and I'm still like in university, so I don't even like have a particular thing that I want to do in my future, but I know for a fact that I'll be doing something that is like that is gonna teach me something, or like inspire me, or like something that I wouldn't get bored of, because I don't think I'll just get into a Japanese company. Yeah, I don't have a particular thing that I want to do in my future right now.
What are you studying at university now?
I'm studying international business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So many opportunities in the field of fashion and connecting kind of everything you're doing there. Throughout all this time, have you had opportunities to go back to Zimbabwe and kind of also reconnect there with your...
Yeah, like my family, some of my family, they still live in Zimbabwe. Like my cousins, my aunties are there. So the last time that I went was I was like 14. My family, they went there like 2 years ago, but I couldn't really go because they went to the time that I couldn't really, take a break from my university. So I was just like, you guys should go, but I would stay type of ish. But the last time that I went, Yeah, it was like, so I was 14, so it was 7 years ago. Yeah,
So it's been a while.
it's been a while.
How do you remain connected to your culture? You mentioned still growing
Yeah.
up in this household and a lot of the culture still being at home. Are you still trying to connect with this, or do you feel now more attached to Japan?
I just don't know. Like, I just have a African blood. Like the type of music that I listen to, and I do love Japanese food and everything, but I also love something really spicy because my mom just used to like cook something spicy most of the time. So
So Zimbabwe food is spicy.
it's spicy.
Okay.
And with there's this thing called saza. It's like it's like fufu, if you know. Like it's like right. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like um if, for example, Japanese people eat food with rice, right? And Zimbabwean people eat food with something called saza, and it looks like mashed potatoes.
Okay.
But it doesn't taste like it. It just looks like mashed potatoes. But so like, even though like I'm not in Zimbabwe, my heart is still in Zimbabwe, and I didn't really find a good like community here, but I feel like my mom did. It was just like the age thing. I wasn't like, trying to find my people here. I was just more like focused on being like trying to be, good in this Japanese society. So I wasn't like, trying to find someone who is like much more like me. I was just trying to like understand, or like, let people see that like I am going to be me in here. So, but like Zimbabwe, even though like even though I changed my citizenship, Zimbabwe is still gonna be like my country. And some people, like, after I tell them like I am technically Japanese, they will like say like, you don't look Japanese. I'm just like, yes, I know I don't look Japanese, and I'm not like I'm ashamed of that, because like I still love my home country, Zimbabwe, and I that's my root anyways. And but like having Japanese passport is something different to do with it. So like I don't really want people coming at me for me saying that I'm technically Japanese.
What does it mean to you then to be Japanese?
To me, to be Japanese is like fully, understanding the Japanese society and being able to like communicate in full Japanese, and understanding some of like the unspoken rules of Japanese cultures. And I do all of that. So like
So for you that means you're Japanese. When I asked you about community, you mentioned that your mother, she did kind of find a community that you kind of connected with and bonded. But for you, growing up here was more a journey of like self-discovery and not liking yourself so much as a child because you were so different, to like kind of accepting who you are and being able to be you here in Japan. Now, today, do you feel like you reached that? Do you feel like you kind of got to the point where you're fully confident in who you are as a person in Japan?
Yeah, like now I think I'm at that place right now, because I'm confident in what I do at the moment, and I don't even like care about other people's opinion, in a way that if they were like listen about how I look, or like saying some stuff about my appearance, I'm just like, okay, but I like how I look and everything. So I just, stop caring about that type of comment, unless like if the comment is something like connected to something for my grow up, from my future, I will listen to that. But now I just think I'm at the place that I can be very confident and, reflect on my past. So I just like how I am right now. Yeah.
So you kind of
Yeah.
made it through your journey of self discovery in Japan.
Yeah.
Kids that grew up in Japan, foreign kids growing up in Japan, I feel like often have this kind of question maybe of identity and who they are and how do they fit. You said earlier you'd give your younger self the advice that all the fears that you have as a kid, maybe they will not materialize, so don't worry about it too much. What would you tell your younger self now with regards to kind of adapting and making it through this journey of self-discovery? And if maybe other children are kind of wondering about this and you'd want to advise them on how they can integrate and adapt and feel comfortable here?
I would tell my younger self that the comments that people come to you about is really coming out from something that they never seen, and their knowledge is just not at the level to understand everything doesn't have to be the same. So and I know that my younger self used to care about being the same with people around her. So what I want to tell her is that the comments that you care about now really doesn't matter in the future, and she should really focus on being confident in her own skin and finding the type of things that suit for her, not the other, not something that suits for other person. Because I used to see how some girls, Japanese, there's some typical things that is good that suits for Japanese girl while it doesn't suit for me. And my younger self didn't really used to get that. So I just want to tell that not everything suits you, but there are some things that suit you directly. So you shouldn't feel down for how you feel about yourself right now. So just focus on some good stuff, and don't just really ignore the negative comment that you hear at the moment is my biggest advice, I guess.
You came here at age 5 and grew up in Japan, naturalized Japanese, made it to the runway and to Vogue magazine, Vogue Japan. Plenty more things to come for you. Do you feel like we talked about the important things you wanted to share today, or do you feel like maybe there's something that I didn't ask you about that you would have liked to bring up and discuss?
I don't know. Nothing is just coming up. I feel like
if nothing is coming up, maybe people can reach out and ask questions. Yeah. Maybe they will have questions for you and be interested and curious. But Idai, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. This was Unpacking Japan, and we'll be back in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future conversations. And we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this episode, here are a couple more that we think you'll enjoy. Thanks again for your support, and we'll see you next time.